Hello and welcome back to the channel for another Doctor Who collection update, this time for February 2022. As ever, lots of stuff to get through this month, from figures to figurines, books, a DVD, a couple of trading cards even. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So, as ever, first of all, we have Doctor Who magazine, issue 574 this time round, the one for last month with this lovely cover featuring Colin Baker as the Sixth Doctor. I think the first Sixth Doctor cover in quite a few years now, and this obviously is to promote the upcoming audio adventure Mind of the Hodiak from Big Finish, Russell Davis's sort of first Doctor Who script that he wrote back in the 80s, or sort of partially wrote a storyline, whatever, which has been adapted for audio. There is also the first part of the interview with Matt Strevens that Doctor Who magazine have been doing recently, the executive producer, the one that isn't Chris Chibnall of the current era. That's very interesting to hear his insights. There is more stuff about the special effects of the current era as well, sort of carrying on from the special effects articles in January's issue. But by far the highlight for me in this issue, the thing that I flicked to as soon as this copy of this issue came through my door, was the collectivity column, the trading cards article here, because I was lucky enough to actually feature in this article. So there we have my face, my lovely face there, and a couple of boxed out quotes and bits and pieces. And yeah, basically I'm quoted throughout the article in various places about the various sort of revived Who trading card sets, Battles in Time, Alien Armies, Alien Attacks, Monster Invasion, all that sort of stuff. And quite a few of the images on these pages as well are ones that I took and sent to DWM. So, for instance, like the Alien Attacks one there, the checklist one there, the game board. This one here is like my complete collection, the empty packets, etc. The little spread of cards over here. Yeah, quite a few of the photos in here are mine, which is just a bit surreal to sort of see them on the pages of Doctor Who magazine. But yeah, really great fun to do this. It came about last year because basically they were doing like a sort of open call to fans, particularly collectors of trading cards, to sort of send in their memories and photos and stuff for an upcoming article. It got delayed a couple of months, a couple of issues, but now it's finally here in this issue for February. It wasn't a paid thing at all. It was just, an act of goodwill, I suppose. But if Doctor Who magazine would like to pay me to do anything, I definitely wouldn't say no. So yeah, who knows? Maybe one day it would be great to sort of write for magazine or do more stuff in the future, I guess. But yeah, this is a lovely little starting point, and I have featured in the magazine a couple of times before, like letters on the Galaxy Forum page or photos or stuff. But this is a bit more substantial, and yeah, just very surreal to sort of see my face and my words and my photos in these pages. Yeah, it's a real honour to be here, and yeah, just really pleased to have had the opportunity, I guess. And off the back of that article finally being published, I thought I'd go and get some more Doctor Who trading cards, try and plug some gaps. And to that end, I got hold of these two Alien Attacks costume cards. So the Cleric's uniform on the left-hand side there, and then the huge sort of jacket or tunic or whatever on the right. So basically, if you've read the article or heard me talking in other videos in the past, you'll know that at the time I got hold of three of these. So the Master's straitjacket, the 11th Doctor's green coat, and then the Ganger boiler suit. That was basically by bending the packets when they came out, because these cards are a little bit thicker, they're on a sort of thicker board, so you could basically tell, in a newly sealed pack, whether or not they contained one of these. But yeah, they are on the rarer side of the Alien Attacks sets, definitely the sort of rarer cards in the set. And there were 7 released, and for years I've just had the 3 of them. Never really given it much thought, but I have sort of thought from time to time, it would be nice to have a complete set, or a near enough complete set. So like I say, off the back of the trading cards article finally going out, I thought I'd look on eBay and just see how much they're going for these days. And to my surprise and delight, the Cleric one here and the nude one here as well were both going for about 20 quid, so I managed to get them for that price basically, which I'm happy with, because they are limited edition pieces. And yeah, they supposedly contain a piece of screen-used costume, although I have always been slightly suspicious of that myself. But that aside, whether or not they are genuine or not, it is just really cool to have these. They're really nice cards. And yeah, that basically just leaves 2 more for me to get. So the 10th Doctor's pyjamas, which again isn't too hard to get hold of, maybe 20-30 quid again. And then the rarest by far of them all is the Unit Soldier, which actually uses a photo of that guy from the start of Time of Angels on the front, basically like a black sort of uniform, which is sort of like a generic sort of soldiery unit uniform. And that one I think is limited to only like 1,500, so it's the rarest out of all the costume cards. And yeah, they go for quite a bit more than the other 6. So maybe one day I'll get hold of that one, and a 10th Doctor's pyjamas as well. But for now, to have 5 out of 7, I'm happy with that. And yeah, just great to have 2 more after all these years. Then also from 2013, we have these 2 books here, Only Human and Beautiful Chaos. Now these were part of a range of paperbacks released in 2013, again like I say, to coincide with the 50th anniversary again. And yeah, there's one for each Doctor, all in this sort of nice white uniform style. They were all reissues of books, which again had originally been released at the time or whatever. So yeah, this was released in 2005 I think, and this one maybe like in 2008 or 9. And yeah, I got a few of these at the time. I don't think I've ever actually read any of them all the way through, but they do look particularly nice together on the shelf. And I've got a few of them over the years since, to the point where now I think, with the addition of these 2 onto the shelf, I am only missing like maybe 2 or 3 more in total, which is mad. I wasn't planning for that to happen at all. It was just a complete accident. But yeah, I'll show you basically, because if you put the spines together on the shelf, you have this lovely thing where you've got the image of the Doctor on the top and then the number along the bottom. So like I say, there are 11 of these, 1 for each Doctor. So when you've got more on the shelf, you sort of have your complete set of Doctors, 1 through to 11, which is really nice. So like I say, yeah, I wasn't ever planning particularly to get all of the books in this range, but yeah, I think now that I am literally only 2 or 3 books away from completing the sets, I will be trying to complete that at some point and just have that complete set on the shelf, because they do look really nice. And in the same charity shop where I found those 2 books, I also found this, the first issue of the DVD files. So this is a blast from the past for fans of a certain age, from the original RTD era. It was originally released back in 2008 or 9, I think, towards the end of the sort of Tennant era. And essentially it was a part work where you could buy an issue every fortnight to become the magazine, and then a free sort of DVD on the front of it as well. And yeah, the idea was that you would slowly build up this collection of like all of Revived Who on DVD in this form, 2 episodes at a time. And then like once you've been going for however many issues, 30 issues or whatever, you'd have all of Revived Doctor Who on DVD. Yeah, I guess just because I already had the episodes on DVD mostly, I never really bothered with it. And also because it was a bit of a rip-off, let's be honest. Buying these 2 episodes at a time for like 7 quid every fortnight, whatever, it's not great. And without any special features as well. But nevertheless, when I saw this in the charity shop, I thought to myself, this is a piece of history here. It's the first ever issue. I can justify buying this. And it was like £1 or something, it's £1.50, whatever. So I was like, yes, I'm going to get it. It looks really cool. I don't think I'll be getting any of the other issues, if I see them in other charity shops or anything, because, why would I need to really? It is something that maybe, one day I might go back to and sort of think, well, it might be nice to go and get a complete set of those just for the sake of having them, really. But yeah, it's not like a DVD I'm going to be using or anything, because I have this on Blu-ray or whatever in other forms. But it is a piece of history, and particularly if we look inside, we got the disc there, obviously, and like the alternate cover and stuff. But this leaflet as well, this in itself is a piece of history. I'm going to get out of that, because it has all these subscriber gifts, which I remember seeing on like the website and adverts and stuff for this part work, where you could get free character options, figures, a DVD holder, a TV movie, a bonus DVD, all this stuff if you subscribed. So yeah, it's a piece of nostalgia, from the original RTD era. I've got to keep saying that because of course the second RTD era is coming up. Yeah, what else can I say? You know, it's a piece of history, it's a piece of nostalgia. I'll probably never even put this DVD in the machine. I mean, I might do once just to see what the menu is like, and just for the sake of it. But yeah, it's not something I've bought to actually watch. It's just something I've bought to sort of have on the shelf and to have it in the collection, really. Yeah, so very pleased to have this, actually. Moving on to 5-inch figures now. First of all, we have the 2 new releases for this month, for this year so far. So firstly, the B&M Robot set, which I have already done a sort of proper in-depth unboxing on the channel already. So if you want to get my full thoughts on this set, do go and check that out. But very briefly, just to reiterate really, the 4th Doctor here is a lovely variant with this sort of updated, brighter red jacket. Really nice, actually. It really surprised me when I sort of took that out of the box and saw it in hand. The K1 robots, actually, yeah, you know, I will give it to it. I think I was a bit harsh in that unboxing video. I was sort of saying, I'm not quite sure if this works, if it's better than the original release, because I'm lucky enough to have the original Build-A-Figure release. But actually, you know, with hindsight, a few weeks on, or a month on from getting this, whenever I got it, when it was released, yeah, actually, it is a really nice figure, and it is the one I now keep on the shelf. It has usurped the original release. I wasn't quite sure at the time, but yeah, now I have done that because it is really nice. The new paint apps do work really nicely and just give it a bit of a sort of facelift, really. So definitely go and pick this set up if you haven't already. It's a really great start to the year, 2 fantastic figures, and particularly if you never got hold of the original release of the K1 robot, then yeah, this is a must buy. And then we have these guys, the Silurian Triad from Warriors of the Deep, the first character online exclusive of the year, which I think took everybody by surprise, really. I mean, I think it was leaked like a couple of days beforehand, but even then, I mean, to see the photos of these on the morning they were announced and to think, you know, that's actually a real thing that you can actually go and buy, it was quite something. Obviously with these, I didn't do an unboxing, I didn't get around to doing an unboxing for these guys, so you probably really haven't heard my thoughts on them just yet, and I've got mixed thoughts really, because, you know, they are nice figures, It's great to have newly sculpted parts again, particularly for like a classic series figure. You know, the heads are amazing and all the new bits like the sort of torso bit as well and the hands and everything. But at the end of the day, of course, it is just a reused body from the Sea Devil figure. And that is a bit annoying in some regards, particularly down on the legs down here, which don't have the right sort of texturing in terms of the scales and stuff, which is present on these newly sculpted forearm bits, is right on the sort of sleeve bit here, but not on the arms and not on the legs. And also because, you know, it's a reused figure from the Sea Devil body, the arms and the legs, particularly the arms, aren't quite bulky or fat enough really. They just look a bit thin by comparison. So, you know, I think the overall effect is a good one. You know, on the shelf, they look pretty decent, you know. I would certainly take these over no Warriors of the Deep Silurians at all. But yeah, I don't think I'm quite as won over by them as some other people, maybe. I mean, yeah, it sort of paves the way for the 70s Silurians as well, which is good. I don't know. I feel like it is a bit of a cop out in some regards, and I think particularly as well, they do feel very much like toys, not really like collector's items. They feel quite weird, quite cheap in a way. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. They don't even have the same smell that figures would usually have. So I'm not quite sure if something's changed in terms of the production of these guys. But yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on them because it is great to have these guys on the shelf. You know, more 5th Doctor monsters is just amazing to see. But yeah, I think just particularly looking at them now, it's the legs which just don't quite do it for me. You know, if they had the scales on them, if they were somehow able to do that, then that would have been amazing. But the fact that they are just like plain sort of veiny Sea Devil legs rather than sort of properly scaly Silurian legs, it does just look a bit off, and unfortunately, yeah, it does leave me feeling a little bit conflicted on these guys. But you know, at the end of the day, it's great to have more newly sculpted parts on a figure, and I'm excited to see what they do next, you know, for the next character online exclusive. Hopefully sort of pushing the boundaries even more in terms of newly sculpted parts and what they can do there. Then turning our attention to older releases which I've recently got hold of, we first of all have these two fantastic Daleks from Resurrection of the Daleks, like a standard drone here on the right, and oh my god, what a figure on the left here, the Supreme from Resurrection. What an amazing figure, so striking with that black and white colour scheme and just, oh, it looks stunning, absolutely fantastic. So for these I have to thank Outer Space Customs on Instagram, who got in touch with me, I think after watching my previous collection update video where I showed an image of all the figures I was still missing from the 5-inch range, and was like, oh yeah, I've got these two Daleks from Resurrection, if you're interested. I was like, yes please, you know, because they are just absolutely amazing, and even, you know, even having them in hand as well, they just went further up in my estimations, because, you know, seeing photos of them is one thing, you know, online, having them in hand, these two are absolutely gorgeous, such great figures. I mean, particularly the Supreme, like I say, it is just so striking and so different to any other Dalek figure that we've ever had or seen in the show, really. Just a really, really great design. So I'm just so pleased to have these two Daleks. Thank you so much for these Outer Space Customs, because yeah, they are just absolutely phenomenal figures. And that theme continues with my next figure purchase of the month, which was this Imperial Dalek, of course, from Remembrance of the Daleks, which was offered to me by Mestor the Magnificent, a familiar name if you've been watching my previous collection updates. In the past, he's offered me a Sontaran pod, and then more recently this as well. And yeah, just fantastic to have this. You know, what an amazing figure. Once again, what a unique figure. I hadn't quite realised until seeing it in hand what a difference this little eye stalk makes, actually, because it's a smaller sculpt than the sort of standard 80s Dalek eye stalk. So that is very striking, and obviously, you know, the blue eye as well, and no mesh on the middle section, which is very nice. Because I should probably say as well which release of this Dalek this is, because there have been quite a few over the years, so clearly it's not the B&M version, which I do already have. It is the one from the Remembrance of the Daleks 4-pack from around about 2011 or around that time, the one that came in the set with the Special Weapons Dalek, and then the Renegade Drone and Supreme. So yeah, not a figure that I was in a particularly hurry to get hold of, but when the offer came along, I couldn't refuse it. To get an Imperial Dalek with the mini blue eye stalk and also no mesh on the midsection, I was not going to pass up on that opportunity, and I'm so glad I didn't, because it's a fantastic figure, and it has actually now replaced the B&M version on the shelf on the Remembrance display as sort of my definitive Imperial Dalek now, because I just love it so much. So yeah, thank you Mestor Magnificent for that figure, really fantastic. And then on the right here, we do of course have another 4th Doctor variant. This is the one that came in the Genesis of the Daleks 2-pack with the Dalek back in 2013, so with the long brown coat, the hatted head obviously, and the sort of dirtied legs and trousers and boots down here. So again, this one just came about because someone got in touch with me on Instagram, this time variant graphic, and yeah, we came to an arrangement with this particular figure, and it's fantastic to have it, because again, it's one of those figures which I wasn't in too much of a hurry to get hold of, but it is in hand actually a really nice figure, one I'm really pleased with, and it plugs a gap as well, because I now have at least one sort of version of every major 4th Doctor variant in terms of different costume variants and coat colours and stuff. So I am just now missing, in terms of Tom Baker's, literally just the version of this which came in the Sontaran Experiment set, so without the dirty trousers, which to be honest isn't a particular sort of major concern for me, because I've got this one now, you know, I can cope with just having one of those, because they are fairly similar figures. And then the other variant of this figure, the one with the unhatted head, which came in the Genesis of the Daleks 4-pack, again back in 2011 or around about that time. So yeah, it's mad to think that, you know, barring those two variants, I now have like pretty much every Tom Baker 4th Doctor figure. So yeah, very, very pleased with these two, and of course those Resurrection Daleks as well at the top of the tree. Just fantastic stuff all around. I will once again put up right now on screen the image of all the figures that I'm still yet to get my hands on, particularly if you have any of the Classic Series figures shown here, then please do get in touch on Instagram or Twitter, because they're not particularly easy to come by, and yeah, it would be nice to track them down if possible. And to finish off, we have 2 figurines from the Doctor Who figurine collection, which were both reduced just £3 each on the ForbiddenPlanet.com website, which is an absolute bargain for these guys, because they're so detailed and such nice pieces. So first of all, we have the Queen Skithra from Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, of course, in Series 12 of the current era. And oh boy, is there a story behind how I got hold of this. So I originally ordered it from FigurinePlanet.com for £3 back in like the start of December or something, and it arrived just before Christmas, but with this tail here snapped off, so somewhere in transit, it broken basically. So, I got in touch with the replacements refunds team and told them what had happened, and they were like, yeah, just send it back and then we'll send you another one. And this was like the week before Christmas, so I sent it back, not expecting anything for a while because of Christmas and New Year. And then nothing happened for a while. It reached about mid-January. I got in touch with them to ask what was going on, and then they just gave me a refund, like a flat-out refund, and no replacement, no anything, just a refund. So I then had to order it all over again, and finally by the end of January, start of February, it finally turned up, this new one, all in one piece, all intact. So quite an ordeal behind how I got this, and not too chuffed with Forbidden Planet's customer services and stuff, to be honest. But putting that aside, this is a fantastic figurine and a fantastic price for it as well. I think particularly for this character, because the Queen Skithra was sort of not particularly shown in the best light on screen, you could say, both literally and metaphorically, because the sets were quite dimly lit and they had that red tinge to them as well. You couldn't really see a lot of the detail that is clearly on this costume, which has been recreated here fantastically. All these colours and details and just different bits of like armour and stuff. So yeah, this is a really nice figurine actually, and sort of a bit bigger than the usual sort of humanoid ones because of this lovely scorpion tail. And yeah, very pleased to have it at last. Just a shame that it took so long to get here, really. Then slightly less exciting and slightly less accurate as well in terms of the likeness, we have Novice Hame in her Series 3 getup from Gridlock, sort of grey outfits. So again, this was reduced just £3 on the Forbidden Planet website. I'd had my eye on it for a while, and basically when I had to reorder the Skithra figurine when they'd messed me around, I thought I'd stick it in the basket as well and get it at the same time. And fortunately neither of them arrived in broken bits and pieces this time round. So yeah, it's not a particularly exciting figurine. I mean, the sort of grey body and tunic and robes and everything are alright for what they are, I suppose. Maybe it would be difficult to get them wrong. The likeness on the face, isn't amazing, and just generally the whole face and arms and body and stuff looks a bit on the thin side. Not quite sure why that is. But hey, it was £3. I'm not going to complain. It's great to have this figurine. It's great to have both of them, actually. Just really, really great stuff. And yeah, like I say, for £3, I am not going to complain about these figurines because they are so good. Just a shame about Forbidden Planet sort of messing me around, really. But yeah, what can you do? So there we have everything I added to my Doctor Who collection in February 2022. Very pleased with all these items, and as ever, a massive thank you to the people that helped get them in front of me. So Outer Space Customs, Mestor the Magnificent, and Variant Graphic. A massive thank you to you three for helping out with those figures. Do let me know in the comments whether you've got any of the things here in front of me, and yeah, just generally what you've added to your Doctor Who collections in recent weeks or months. And of course, as ever, links to any of the items here that you can still buy online will be in the description below. Please do give this video a like if you have enjoyed it. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new for more videos like this in the future. And if you want to go one step further, please check out my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. And I'll see you in about a month's time or so for another Doctor Who collection update. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.